Welcome back, YouTube, to more MSQ playthrough. We are in post Endwalker, and we're just going to jump straight into it. We just met Zero. As much as one might expect the unexpected, I doubt any of us could have foreseen this turn of events. She seems different from other Voidsent, at least those you've met. And the change we witness, I suspect, is due to your crystal purging the excess darkness in her. Even so, she still harbors a great deal of darkness. I'm very keen to hear what she can tell us about herself and about her world. So I doubt you came to the dungeon by pure chance. What is it that you're after? We were looking for a Voidsent with whom we could converse, in the course of which we learned of you. We are visitors to this world and know little and less of its working and ways. We would be grateful if you could tell us about it, about yourself. So it's information you seek. What do you offer for it? I beg your pardon? Voidsent do not give unless we stand to gain. If you desire something, you pay the price. That is the sole rule in this world you call the Void. That makes sense. Pray forgive our ignorance, but what would be acceptable as payment? I suspect that such coin as we carry has no value here. Voidsent crave one thing alone, Aether. In return for information, I offer you mine. Just not all of it, mind you. I still have need of my life. Very well. I will tell you no more than you can afford to pay. Then we have a bargain. If we're to talk about the Void, let us do so outside. Come with me. I really hope this isn't all the way... Okay. Okay, it wasn't like crazy.
This is where I belong. My home. This endless darkness you call the Void. There was once light here, and it shone its warmth upon creation. The lands were green and the seas were blue. Life flourished. Before the war, the Contra Memoria.
It must have been a terrible war indeed.
It shattered the balance, causing darkness to engulf the world. All life was transformed into monstrosities, Voidsent. We are the natural order now.
As light begat sin-eaters, darkness begat Voidsent.
The sun was driven from the sky as fleeting day yielded to endless night. In time, even land and sea lost their distinction, and though the spark of reason had died in us, driven by memory's shadow, we formed factions and carved out domains. This castle, for instance, its erstwhile lord must have abided in such a place once upon a time.
If I may, the darkness in you is too much for any man to harbor. To my eyes, you are indeed a Voidsent. Yet your knowledge of the past and your demeanor mark you apart from your brethren. You are different. That much is plain. But in what way, I am unsure.
As you say, I am Voidsent, but only in part. The darkness touched my mother when the war had only just begun, when I was still in the womb. As a child, I looked like any other, but darkness coursed through me, and I ceased to age when I'd become a woman grown. But that was then. And now, I may as well be one in full. I prey on the weak and serve the strong. I live to survive. Nothing more.
Forgive me. 'Twas not my intent to pry. I realize, too, that I have neglected to ask your name.
As we say mortal, you may call me Voidsent.
That is liable to cause confusion. If you are not averse, we would address you by your true name.
Then call me what you will. I care not.
about 0?
Meaning nothing. A name as fitting as any.
No, not nothing, but rather a beginning. For it remains to be seen what you will become to us.
As I said, I care not. 0 then.
Here's to a fruitful partnership.
Partnership? Are you saying you wish to strike a bargain?
Well, Zero, while there is no end to the questions we could ask, it is only fair that we tell you our purpose in coming here. We are searching for a dragon. One who came to your world long ago.
A dragon?
Yes. Ashdaya is her name, and she is my sister.
We're being watched.
If you have any knowledge of her, I beg you share it with us. Did you say something?
No.
I thought I heard a voice as well. The keening of void scent, perhaps.
I must say, we are rather exposed here. Perhaps we should continue the conversation within the castle. The throne room is defensible, given its few points of ingress. Let us head back there. Moving wasn't part of the bargain. I'll comply, but I expect my payment promptly. You shall have it soon as we've arrived. This is one thing I didn't enjoy about this part of the story, was that it's a whole lot of back and forth, like back and forth and back and forth, to the beginning of Felcourt, to the end of Felcourt, to the beginning of Felcourt, to the end of Felcourt, and back and forth 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 and back and forth.
This place is as good as any. Let me have the ether now.
Very well.
Again? But we struck it down, watched it die.
Fools. Death doesn't exist in this world. And I am free to return whensoever I please.
Death doesn't exist. Of course, in the first, the power of light, of passivity, prevents life from emerging in the empty. But in the 13th, the power of darkness, of activity, prevents life from finding rest, even should soul be separated from flesh.
So unless one's essence is absorbed by another, it is possible to return again and again.
Your ether. It is reminiscent of that creature's. My mouth waters at the memory. What
it's another death they want, I say we give it to them.
If you could lend us a hand, we'd be much obliged.
That you would. But you already owe me a debt, and until you make good on it, I won't lift a finger. We'll speak after you've won. But know that if you lose, I'll help myself to your ether.
That a bothersome duty should deliver to me this lavish feast. Come, struggle with all your might. It will make you that much richer and tastier. Every soul in this domain serves me. Feast upon their flesh.
Castle answers your call. We do well to break up this feast quickly.
Then let's see these guests on their way.
Behold the power of the Archfiend of Earth!
He hastens their regeneration.
We are blessed. You cannot defeat that which cannot die.
This bodes ill. Our foe has too great an advantage.
We need to drag him out of this damnable feast. Stand together!
There's no end in sight. A retreat may be in order.
When will you learn? No matter what you do, you cannot hope to win.
You never know until you try, and I'm always happy to experiment.
Why not devour them?
Zero, Is there no way to stop them from coming back?
If Scarmillion can kill and absorb slash devour Beatrice, why is it that we can't just do the same? Because obviously that prevents them from coming back.
There is, but I have no reason to share it with you.
You know, Zero, you do owe us for one thing. Your name. You'll have your promised ether, but we are owed compensation for your name.
A name for which I did not ask, but that I nevertheless did accept.
They've been crystallized.
Well now, that's quite the trick.
Satisfied?
Completely.
Come, my friends. With Zero's aid, we can defeat him.
What is this? What have you done?
Now that I think on it, you owe me a debt as well. You may have missed your mark, but I won't miss mine. However, a debt is a debt. I will repay it here and now.
She can turn voices into crystals.
Another debt to repay.
If I must deal with you first, I'll kill you all myself.
Finally getting serious, though. Very well. Let us return the favor.
Surprised we don't have a limit break.
This place will be your grave!
We must stop him now!
Everyone, to me! Give everything you've got!
That's cool. It's like Passage of Arms, but because he's a dragon, it looks like green scales. It's pretty sick.
Fools! Do not think you have defeated me. I will return again and again. What? My flesh? Why won't it heal? What is the meaning of this? To seal ether in crystal. Memoria. But how? How can you have this power? Death has no place in this world. We are beyond it. And yet, Lord Golbez, you have sent me to my doom. Curse you and your wretched flattery, and this abominable fate.
You are welcome, seekers of might. I, Golbez, have called you hither. I, who would see us triumph in the coming crusade. That I may entrust you with command of our armies.
Yes, but what of the promised gift?
In exchange for our loyalty, we are to feast on the finest ether.
And so you shall, for if you are to serve me, You must be strong.
Then honor the pact and pray we are not disappointed.
Very well. Behold.
The fiery wings, the savage horns. It pulses with life. Such vibrant ether. This magnificent creature could only come from beyond the veil.
Indeed. Feast, my friends. Feast and arise as my 4 arch-fiends. As they are now, they can consume but a fraction of the dragon's ether. Just as well, the creature may yet serve other ends.
Are you all right?
The Void Sense essence remains, but it has been sealed away, transformed into crystal.
Memoria. Scarmelione called them. I take it they are connected to the war of which you spoke.
Aye. Their use was central to the Contra Memoria, hence its name. And to my knowledge, the transformation is permanent.
I see. We thank you for coming to our aid.
I repaid a debt, and in doing so ensured that I received my own due compensation, which I shall have now.
Yes, yes. I still have work to do, so I would thank you not to get carried away.
Ether is the coin of choice. I appreciate the simplicity.
That makes us even, I trust. Right then. When you picked up the crystal, you experienced a vision, did you not?
A dragon resembling a great wyrm. I dare to hope that it was Ashdaya. Even as it pains me to think she's been made to suffer.
For the ambitions of this Golbez.
We've been given much to consider. Let us take a moment to review what we know.
Okay. In light of our recent experiences, I expect we all have questions. I trust Zero can answer some of them. We should still be owed at least that much, I dare say. MSQ, you've come to the 13th before, yes? You find Void Sent here? But clearly you didn't know they could regenerate, else you would have shared the detail beforehand. They seemed to stay dead at the time, yes. I doubt not that they did. There must be a reason why the ones you defeated did not return, in contravention with the natural order. Do you remember aught out of the ordinary? A sealing magic like Zero's, perhaps? There are circumstances in which we're unable to return. If you like, I can tell you about this. Please do. The more you devour, the more powerful you grow, but in the process your essence is blended with those of your prey. If you were to lose your flesh, the souls you had come to harbor may break free and coalesce into distinct void scent once more. And before you yourself return, your own soul might be devoured by your enemies or your erstwhile prey, fate more likely for stronger beings who require more time to regenerate. However, even assuming you survive the process, it's highly uncommon to return as you were. Yet, despite his greater strength, Scarmelion managed to resurrect rather swiftly. Are there others capable of the same? Not that I'm aware of. His attachment to his flesh must have been unique for him to develop such an ability. I believe we understand the fundamentals of rebirth now. If I may, I would ask about your power. Will you tell us about it? What you saw should speak for itself. I can bind the aether of the soul in crystal. Many yielded power during the Contra Memoria, but I'm the only one left. How does one come to wield Memoria, and what happened to your peers? I've never thought about that. I do know, though, that Void Scent can't use the power. I assume I can because I'm mortal in part. I see. Zero, I wish to ask you about the man called Gobez. He may well have my sister in his clutches. Is there aught you can tell us of him? The name sounds vaguely familiar, though I can't say how I know it. If he is so powerful, however, someone in the castle may have heard of him. Then we must try talking to the other Void Scent again. Let us entreat to the task to MSQ. His echo will help facilitate communication. More importantly, he should be able to maintain his composure better than his concerned sibling. That I cannot deny. Forgive me, but will you not ask about Gobez in my stead? On the terraces to begin with, perhaps. You mean go all the way back? Sure. Thank you. We shall remain here and discuss what other avenues we might pursue in the meantime. Told you. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth in this area. Back and forth. So the clever one hadn't been eaten. If no one wants it, then perhaps... Gobez? Of course I know of him. Only a fool without ears wouldn't. His archfiends lead armies to ravage and conquer, to devour those they deem useless, those who can't fight. If you don't want to be eaten, then you'd better flee, though soon there will be nowhere to run. If the one who devoured her dies, perhaps the mistress will return, that I may bask in her gaze again. Gobez, you say? My mistress spoke of him. He commands the archfiends. They are very powerful and have conquered many domains. The mistress bade us defend the castle from them. Yes, she did. The tasty one returns to tempt me. I mustn't eat you. I mustn't eat you. Gobez, I know of him from those I've eaten. He has minions, and those minions have minions. No one ever sees him. Welcome back, MSQ. Were you able to learn aught of value? So countless void sent answer to the archfiends, who in turn answer to Gobez, as your vision did suggest. Scarmillion's aggression is also consistent with the claims that the archfiends conquer other domains. The question is, how do we reach Gobez if he surrounds himself with armies of minions? We could target his other archfiends, or perhaps those who have fled his service. Either may yield useful information. That said, we can't do much while we're stuck on this isle. Zero, I would ask a favor of you. I am determined to save my sister Azjaya. If there is even the faint possibility that Golbaz has her, then I must find him. To that end, I want to lend us your strength and knowledge. Will you accompany us on our quest? Forgotten the way of my world already? If you want to help offer payment. None here will aid you out of the kindness of their hearts. Any who claim otherwise are liars and betrayers. Or is this less a request and more a threat? If I refuse, will you force me to serve? If you accompany us, we can offer you protection. Protection? I have no need of such. I was a prisoner, yes, but only because I couldn't be bothered to resist. I could have easily broken free, and had I desired to do so. If you're truly such an aimless creature, then you could do worse than to join us. You needn't expend as much energy to defend yourself as you would alone. Trying to be clever, are you? But even if you had a point, your protection isn't enough to persuade me. Very well, Zero. I propose you travel with us, and whenever you perform a deed that requires payment, we will provide it in an aether. That is all you had to say. Everything else was superfluous. Fair point. Where to now? Either a place the archfiends may strike next, or where refugees and deserters may seek sanctuary. I know the latter. I'll take you there. I assume you also know how we can get off this isle. I was brought here on a mount. You can leave the same way. Now that you mention it, I did notice some flying creatures near the terraces. Given our numbers, we'll need a large one, but regardless of size, all can be won over with aether. Excellent. Let us go and find our mount at once. Being watched again. Not good, Lord Gubo. Bez must hear of this. We should be able to find a mount here. With the castle in disarray, the creatures will be hungry. Just a little ether should suffice. Are you ready?
There it is. Good. It agrees to serve. Get on.
What is this place?
My domain. In the beginning, it was a sanctuary for me alone. But over time, others began to gather here. Those who had nowhere else to go.
A settlement of pariahs.
Mortals! They're mortals! What does leader?
Let me have some, let me have some! Not fair. What's this?
You are under my protection here and will not be harmed. I give you my word. Follow me.
This is my abode. The others won't come near, so you may be at ease. While they know their place, if tantalizing Aether were to walk by, I can't guarantee they won't pounce. It is a void sense nature to consume, their sole purpose. Even if the pursuit of Aether may lead to their undoing, many succumb to instinct. But any who succumb here will have to answer to me. This is my domain's one and only rule, and it is absolute. Consider yourself duly warned. If you do wish to go among the void sent here, that is your choice to make. All have fled from one master or another, but whether any of those masters in turn serve Golbez, I do not know. You must ask them yourselves. Most have traveled to your world, so it shouldn't be difficult to communicate. We shall go about making inquiries at once. Thank you for your counsel. Once we've learned all we can, let us reconvene at yonder. You're going to, of course, in which case I shall accompany you. Wish only to observe. Do not expect me to help. Then it's settled. I'm ready when you are. Ready? Then lead the way. I leave it to you to decide with whom you speak. I call this my abode, but spend hardly any time here. I return only for meditation. While physical wounds can be healed by replenishing one's aether, you can't preserve your form if you lose sight of yourself. Such is the risk inherent in consuming another's soul. It dilutes your sense of self, alters you inside and out. To guard against this, I meditate, visualize who I am in all place of my own. This is the heart of my domain. Normally it's deserted, but you and yours have drawn everyone out. I don't recall this statue, though. However it came to be, I certainly didn't wish for it. To walk around with her like that, you're her minion then. You know I don't take minions. He has some questions and I want you to answer them. Bez, I don't know about that one, only Scythe. When she led us beyond the veil, I grew scared and fled. I've been here since. I don't know anyone else, nor do I wish to. That's all I can tell you. Scythe was a powerful void sent who ruled over a vast domain. That was a long time ago, though, so I doubt she has any connection to Golbez. You're one of the mortals, is it true? When you die over there, do you really die? So it is, so it is. What brings you here then? Ah yes, Gobez. He seeks strong minions to grow his army, so I hear, but recently he stopped doing that. Instead he devours all. Perhaps he's gathered enough fodder and is now intent on bolstering his own strength. A sure sign that he is about to make a move. Stay away from me. If you don't want to be eaten, stay away. Gobez, I've heard the name before. I remember. Always speaking of a great crusade. I don't know what that is, but it sounds delicious. A crusade, you say? From whom did you hear this? Farfallow. He was a minion of another minion. Went on and on about the terrible things he saw. I see. Perhaps Farfarello can tell us more. Satisfied with what you've learned? But let's step away before you become too tempting to resist. If the rumors of Kobaz reach even my remote domain, fair to assume he's gathering strength for his crusade, whatever that may be, but I must say, I wouldn't have guessed that Farfarello once fought in Golbez's army. It's a miracle he survived serving an archfiend. I suppose I should explain. Farfarello is the weakest among us. Constantly in fear of being devoured, he seldom consorts with others. The only one he's comfortable with is Siriato. He's a fellow coward who runs the instant he senses a threat, and won't stop until he's exhausted. When their hunger grows too intense, they feed on each other's aether. Such is their relationship, but I ramble. You intend to seek out Farfarello? Then I'll come with you. He's less likely to hide that way. Meanwhile, elsewhere.
Not only did the mortals conquer Troy, they defeated Scarmalione. I struggle to believe it.
They're very small, my lords. They were aided by one of our world, who transformed Scarmalione's soul into crystal.
Crystal, this one speaks of Memoria. Now there's something I've not heard for an age. It'll bring a pang of nostalgia to my breast and a tear to my eye. Yet the very notion was an absurd. Gifted our good, drowned in darkness, as were we all.
And yet Scarmalione still does not answer. Were he alive, he would have returned by now. Weakest though he was, his ability to regenerate was without peer. If this account is true, if a Memoriat has survived, they cannot be suffered to live.
Leave this matter to me, Lord Golbez. I, Arboritia, shall strike down any who pose a threat to our plans.
'Tis true, you are a proven commander, well suited to leading an assault.
And when I have succeeded, I would beg a boon of you.
What do you desire?
The dragon's ether. All that remains.
The insolence! No place!
With respect, my locks are free as the wind, without incentive to sway them. I know not whither they will blow.
Boldly spoken. I trust you will not disappoint me.
Upon this flowing hair and my immortal soul, I will not fail.
Then go and impress upon these interlopers the futility of defiance.
My lord.
Farfarello keeps to the fringes of my domain. This way. The Void sent here don't answer to a master. They can do as they please, but all must answer to the hunger and seek out prey when they need aether. Except Farfarello and Siriato, that is. They are content to take from one another. Barring an incident, they do not venture far out. When he takes flight, Siriato will not seek shelter until he is utterly spent. Farfarello, on the other hand, prefers to hide in the same place. Come. Whatever will I do now? Siriato, this is rather unexpected. Where is Farfarello? Farfarello isn't here anymore. He's left. Yes, that's right. Left. That doesn't sound like him at all. Well, he's gone, all right. What more do you want me to say? And off he flees, as he is wont to do. But something about this doesn't sit well with me. What do you make of Siriato's behavior? Seems frightened. Or no, what did I say? Clicked on the second one, I meant the first. As he says, Farfarello is gone, but that is quite unusual. Is this the fact that Siriato, who was clearly frightened by something, chose not to flee but instead hid here, where Farfarello No. We must go after Siriato now. Oh, maybe he ate all the aether. Too much of it consumed him. Siriato, we need to talk. There's no time. The wind rises. We must flee. The wind rises? What is he talking about? After him. What's gone into you? What do you mean the wind rises? When the wind rises, she comes. Barbaricia! Barbaricia? Who in the world is that? We must flee, all of us. There's no time. I don't sense anything, but he seems convinced. It's a dead end beyond. We'll corner him. We're doomed. There's nowhere to run. What are you running from? I already told you. Barbarusia, the Archfiend of Wind. Archfiend, you say? We will be devoured or forced to serve, to fight in the crusade, but it makes no difference. In the end, we're all eaten by her or her enemies. I didn't want to fight anymore. That's why I fled and came here. I see. That explains everything, almost. I thought it was Farfarello who used to serve an Archfiend, not you. Not you, who always ran at the first sign of trouble. You, who now speak as though you were Barbaricia's minion. There's only one explanation. He devoured Farfarello, didn't he? Indeed, that would account for his uncharacteristic behavior. So, is that the way of it? Did you devour Farfarello, and not just a portion of his aether, but his entire being? How did you know? It wasn't only your behavior that felt strange. You felt strange, as if there was more than you present. Now, I don't believe you would have lost control. More likely it was at Farfarello's behest. I can't hide anything from you. I admit it. Farfarello didn't leave. I hate him. He feared Barbarossa more than anything, hated the endless fighting, so he begged me to devour him that he would never have to fight again. Rather than an eternity of fighting, he chose a moment of pain. For all the good it did, I could still hear his voice in my head. He's frightened, so very frightened. When you're eaten, your essence is blended with that of your devourer, and though you have no control, your consciousness in part endures. Were this a world where the wheel of life and death still turned, the soul wouldn't linger so stubbornly. In time, it would return to the great flow. But there's no such end here, no escape. All know this, and making his choice, Farfarello must have been desperate indeed. And now that desperation has joined with Siriato's fear, driving him to act erratically. This place will become a battlefield. We don't want to be eaten, neither me nor Farfarello. But there's nowhere to go, nowhere. Then tell me about Barbarossa. I would know who it is we face. It's too late. She's as good as here. No one can escape her winds. No one!
And she's brought her domain with her. The Archfiend's after you and yours, I shouldn't doubt. Perhaps you should go and find them. But be warned, whatever this is about, do not expect us to get involved.
I can't bear it! Eating and being eaten! I only want to be left in peace!
You and me both.
One of the Archfiends approaches.
They must have been tracking our movement.
She's here.
Excellent. You've saved me the trouble of traveling to Troya.
So you're Barbarossa.
Mind your manners, mortal. My name is not to be spoken, save in reverence and fear. And what is this pitiful domain? Pitiful wretches all. I will put you out of your misery. Alas, poor Scarmiglione, and good riddance. Felled by outsiders in pursuit of what? Pray tell?
A dragon. One who crossed to this world thousands of years ago. Know you aught of it?
A dragon, you say? Huh. My Lord Golbez is more clever than I realized. To let the prize live, that it might lure more prey to us. Very well. In gratitude and service, I shall devour every last mote of their souls.
Where is she? Where is Ashdaya?
Huh. You even share its scent. How curious. And irresistible.
If you think us easy prey, you're wrong.
Unlike Scarmiglione, I need not skulk in shadow to claim what is mine. If you would know about the dragon you seek, then enter into my domain. You may flee instead if you wish, if the fate of the sorry lot here is of no concern to you. One way or another, I will have satisfaction.
What's the plan then?
Go after her. What else, you doofus?
Indeed. Yet she will have the upper hand in her domain. We must be no less than fully prepared.
We find her and get our answers. Will you be joining us, Zero?
You may be easily goaded into accepting her challenge, but my curiosity is not so insatiable as to cloud my judgment. Nevertheless, if you are desperate for my aid, you know my price.
I shall pay it. So long as you leave me strength enough to see my sister home, you may take as much as you wish. And lest you forget, mine is no ordinary ether. Barbariccia too recognized its potency.
Very well. We have a bargain.
And Estinians would be a little bit different too, because he's like half mortal, half dragon. So it'd be like having both Ishtola and Varshan. Alright, that's going to do it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We're going to continue more and kick Barbaricia's ass in the next one. Like and subscribe. Take care.